Speaker, and can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks on the terrible Golders Green attacks? Mr. Speaker, rebuilding trust and integrity in our democracy matters deeply to my constituents in Southampton. Shamefully, it doesn't matter at all to some, particularly the senior Reform UK politician who has been convicted of taking bribes from Russia. Does the Prime Minister agree that there has never been a more urgent need to defend our country from hostile forces who would try to undermine our democracy? And will he set out what concrete steps he is taking to crack down on foreign interference in British politics?
Prime Minister.
Can I thank my honourable friend? He makes a powerful point. Mr. Speaker, the Communities Secretary will make a statement later on the Rycroft review, which sets out the stark threats posed by illicit finance. I can tell the House we will act decisively to protect our democracy. That will include a moratorium on all political donations made through cryptocurrencies. I hope that will be welcomed across the House. There is only one party leader who has shown he will say anything, no matter how divisive, if he's paid to do so.
Nigel Farage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Smash the gangs. That is what the Prime Minister promised us. Trust me, I will stop the boats from coming. But 70,000 later, and 1,000 in the last week, and too many young men that pose a threat to national security, is it not time to admit Smash the Gangs has been a total abject failure, along, frankly, with most of his other policies? And isn't it now time, he told us, as summer approaches, what is Plan B?
Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, this is from the man and the party that voted against giving law enforcement counter-terrorism-style powers to tackle it. So he wants the grievance, he doesn't want it sorted. And he has absolutely no judgment. He again said, let's join the war, let's all go to war. I want to make it perfectly clear he wants the war. A week later, screeching U-turn, we don't want to go to war. And he says, trust his judgment. Mr. Speaker, it's hard to take anything he says seriously. He promised lower tax, and now Reform councils are hiking council tax by 9%. In Worcestershire, this is what he said about Worcestershire. He said, we took control of a virtually bankrupt council. I wish we hadn't bothered. He asked for people's votes, and then he abandons them. Reform don't want to solve problems, they only want to exploit them. I am thankful for the opportunity to change this country for the better. He says he wishes he hadn't bothered winning councils, because they're an absolute disgrace.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank the Prime Minister for the £35 million of funding announced this week to transform Crucible Theatre and keep the world...
Order! I want to hear this member's question, especially those who are interested in snooker. Dr. Rachel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank the Prime Minister for the £35 million of funding announced this week to transform the Crucible Theatre and keep the World Snooker Championship at the heart of Sheffield? I want my constituents to be able to enjoy this fantastic tournament day and night, travelling by tram train from Stocksbridge to Sheffield via Outerbridge, Warncliffe Side and Deepcar. I'm grateful for our South Yorkshire Mayor, Oliver Coppard, for kick-starting these plans. Will the Prime Minister work with me and the South Yorkshire Mayor to ensure we get spades in the ground for a tram train extension to Stocksbridge as soon as possible so my constituents can enjoy the snooker?
Mr. Speaker, I see Reform have walked out. They obviously realise they're absolutely snookered. Mr. Speaker.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Sheffield and the Crucible Theatre are the beating heart of snooker, and I am delighted that we'll host the World Snooker Championships for many years to come, because this is what Labour stands for, investing in things that make us proud of the places that we live. Can I reassure my honourable friend we're working closely with South Yorkshire Combined Authority on better transport links, providing over £1.4 billion to spend on their priorities, which could include a new tram fleet, more modern stops or deliver extensions.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Last week I met my constituents Rob and Lizzie at the King's Arms Hotel in Melrose, which we run as part of a family business of 10 hotels across Scotland. They employ over 250 people, but their national insurance bill is going up by £288,000 because of Labour's tax on jobs. We need to get Britain working again, but this government's policies are doing the opposite. Does the Prime Minister understand the damage that he is doing to our economy? And how does he expect businesses like this to survive?
Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, the steps we've taken have been to repair the damage that was done by the previous government. And we took those steps, and the spring statement showed the results of those steps. Inflation coming down, interest rates coming down, and the economy stabilised. I know they don't understand that because they blew up the economy in the first place.
Tony Antoniazzi.
Mr Speaker, my constituents Tony and Rebecca Wadley received insulation under the Tory government's Eco4 scheme, but the work left their home with black mould, leaks, damp and even a solar fire, damage now requiring £100,000 worth of repairs. Rebecca is suicidal, Tony has had pneumonia, their asthmatic son cannot live at home, and like many others they are required under the rules to use the same contractor responsible for the faulty work, only up to £20,000. Now, will the Prime Minister commit to overhauling this broken system so that my constituents and many others can receive fully funded repairs carried out by a competent builder?
Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, an independent audit of the previous government's failed insulation schemes show unacceptable levels of failings. We've acted to make sure poor quality installations are fixed. It is important that those responsible are held to account for the cost of remediating the issues. I do recognise that there are some complicated cases. I'll make sure a Minister looks at her constituent's case and that urgent action is taken.
Harriet Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Now, the Prime Minister says that he's concerned about the cost of living. So can he explain why he allowed his government minister to give permission to reform-led Worcestershire County Council to inflict that 9% council tax hike on my constituents?
Mr Speaker, Reform have to take responsibility for their decisions and they've moved out.
John Trickett.
Mr Speaker, two members of the same family in my constituency recently suffered serious health problems. The NHS was there for them, as you would expect, and they're both hopefully now on the road to recovery. But the recently departed honourable member had a different idea, that we should have an insurance-based health policy, an American-style policy, and that family, whose cost would have been $1.2 million, would have been crucified financially by what happened. So will the Prime Minister take the opportunity to say that our principles on the NHS are that it's universal for everybody, that wealth does not give you privileged access, and that this is a public service, not a private service?
Prime Minister.
I'm deeply sorry to hear about the case that he raises. We are the party of the NHS and we will always fight to ensure that it remains free at the point of use. Mr Speaker, we inherited an NHS on its knees, but we are seeing progress. Waiting lists are down, patient satisfaction is improving, we got the best ambulance response times for half a decade. There's much more to do, but we're delivering the investment that's needed, and it was opposed by who? The Tories and the now departed Reform.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My constituent, Susan, suffered horrific, unimaginable, lifelong injury from a pelvic mesh implant. She lost her business, her marriage, her health, and lives in constant 24-hour pain. I'd like to congratulate the new Minister for Public Health on her appointment after her tireless campaigning on this issue, which has clearly been recognised. But more than 2 years after the Hughes report set out clear recommendations for redress, thousands of women like Susan are still waiting for a government response. So can the Prime Minister tell Susan and the thousands of other women like her how much longer they will have to wait?
Minister.
Can I thank her for raising Susan's case, and it's really important that she does so, and I'm deeply sorry for the enduring harm that patients have suffered. Ministers have met campaigners and the Patient Safety Commissioner to discuss their recommendations, and I can assure her we will provide a full response to the Hughes report recommendations at the earliest opportunity. And I'm happy for ministers to update her on the actions we've taken and to discuss the particular case that she's raised with me.
Dr. Ellison.